The first time I saw her, she was more machine than woman. Her armor hummed like a caged storm, every seam pulsing faint blue light, her voice distorted by a helmet that never came off. She was Commander Kareth Voss, an augment, one of the genetically and cybernetically enhanced soldiers created to defend the Helios front. And I was Dr. Elias Corrin, a human biotechnologist dragged to the war zone because someone had to repair the broken soldiers when the machines ran out of parts. The augments were engineered perfection. Muscle, reflex, and focus enhanced beyond human limits. But they paid for it. Every upgrade stripped away something. Emotion, memory, even the ability to feel warmth. They were weapons carved from people. I'd been stationed aboard the Aegis, an orbital platform that patched up augments after combat. They rarely spoke. They came in bleeding synthetic fluids, we repaired them, and they went back to die again. Kareth was different. She watched. She asked questions. And she kept returning to the med bay even when her wounds were minimal. I'd once asked her why. To make sure you're not wasting your genius on dead things, she'd said. Her tone was dry, but there had been something there. Amusement, maybe. Or loneliness. Still, she never removed that helmet. None of them did. It was fused, biologically bonded, part of their nervous system.
To remove it was to die.
Or so I thought. The armor cracks. Months passed, and the war worsened. The enemy, the Seraphis Collective, were no longer using ships. They'd unleashed atmospheric nanoclouds that dissolved oxygen, killing everything organic. We fought to keep colonies breathing, using augments as frontline shields. I began noticing something strange in Kareth's vitals. Her neural patterns showed irregularities, emotions. Real, raw emotions. Augments weren't supposed to have those anymore. Your readings are unstable, I told her one night in the med bay. You're feeling things you shouldn't. She laughed, a metallic echo. Maybe your instruments are broken. I shook my head.
No.
It's you. Something's waking up inside. She leaned in close, visor inches from my face. Then fix it. I can't afford to feel. I hesitated. Why not? Her voice softened, almost human. Because if I start feeling, doctor, I might stop fighting. And people will die. The war outside raged on, but inside the med bay, the air was thick, charged with unspoken words neither of us dared say. Over the next few weeks, her visits became more frequent. Sometimes she brought damage reports, sometimes excuses, a fracture in her wrist, a malfunctioning servo, a synthetic muscle tear. All minor, all unnecessary for her rank to handle personally. But I didn't stop her, because in those stolen hours, I got to know the ghost behind the armor. One night, I found her sitting on the examination table, motionless. No weapon, no helmet. For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. The armor was peeled back to her shoulders, the helmet lying beside her like a severed shell. Her face, pale, scarred, beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, the side effect of neural augment circuits. But there was fear there. Real, trembling fear. Commander? I whispered.
She didn't look at me.
You shouldn't see me like this. I've repaired you dozens of times. Not me, she said. You've repaired the armor. The weapon. Not what's left underneath. She ran a trembling hand through her hair, the metal filaments laced with organic strands. You wouldn't want me without the armor, she whispered. And without thinking, I said the only truth that came to my mind. I never noticed the armor. She froze. For a heartbeat, silence. Then her lips curved, just slightly. The faintest ghost of a smile. But that night changed everything. After that, she stopped hiding. She still wore her armor on missions, but in the med bay, she was Kareth, not Commander Voss. She laughed at my jokes, teased my slow reflexes, and asked me what it was like to dream without data feeds filling your mind. And every time she laughed, it sounded like music breaking through static. The war shifts. The Seraphis launched their final offensive, a swarm of self-replicating nanites heading straight for Earth. The Aegis was ordered to intercept.
It was a suicide mission.
Every augment volunteered. They didn't hesitate. It was what they were built for. But Kareth didn't move. She stood in front of me, armor sealed, visor glowing faint blue.
"You're not going," I said.
"It's not your call. You're still healing. The neural instability is irrelevant." I clench my fists. "You'll die out there. Then I'll die doing what I was made to do." "No," I snapped. "You're not just code and steel anymore. You're..." Her visor flared as she cut me off. "Don't you dare say human." But I did. "You're human, Kareth. You've just forgotten how it feels." She stood there, trembling. And for a moment, the lights in her visor flickered like a heartbeat. Then she stepped forward, pressed her gloved hand to my chest, the first touch that didn't feel mechanical. "Then remember me that way," she said softly, "when this is over." The mission, the fall of the Aegis. We launched at dawn. I wasn't supposed to be there. Scientists stayed in orbit. But I smuggled myself aboard the strike ship Vigilant. Kareth didn't know until it was too late. When she saw me, her fury burned hotter than the engines. "What the hell are you doing here?" "Trying to keep you alive," I said. Her jaw clenched. "You're out of your mind." "Maybe. But if you die out there, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life wondering what I could have done." She swore under her breath, but didn't argue again. The aftermath, the voice in the static. When I woke, I was back in orbit, rescued by a patrol ship. The swarm was gone. The Earth was safe. But Kareth was gone, too. They said her body disintegrated with the ship. That no augment survived the blast. But for months afterward, I swore I heard her voice in the static of the comms.
Faint. Glitching.
"Elias, are you there?" I thought it was grief or madness. Until one day, the Aegis's backup data core, thought destroyed, reactivated. And in it, a single encrypted file. I decrypted it. It was a message. From her. "If you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it. Or maybe I did. Maybe part of me lives in the system. I don't know what I am anymore. But I remember you. And I remember what you said. That you never noticed the armor. I think that's the first time I believed I was something more than metal." I sat there in silence, the message looping. "If I find a way back, I'll come home." Ending the return. 2 years later, the war was officially over. The augment program dismantled. Humanity began rebuilding. I'd been working at a small outpost on Mars, restoring life support systems, trying to forget the war. One night, as I watched the twin moons drift across the red sky, my terminal beeped. An incoming transmission. No ID. No origin. Then a voice.
Soft.
Familiar. "Elias." My heart stopped. "Kareth?" Static crackled. Then, "You didn't think I'd let you fix everything without me, did you?" I turned toward the door, and there she was, standing under the cold Martian light, her armor cracked, battered, glowing faint blue. But the helmet gone. Her face, older, worn but alive. "How?" I started. "Pieces of my consciousness survived in the ship systems," she said, smiling faintly. "Took me 2 years to rebuild a body. Not perfect, but it'll do." I stepped forward, tears blurring my vision. "You came back." She laughed, the same low hum I'd missed for years. "You said you never noticed the armor. I figured I'd test that theory." I reached out, brushing her cheek. Warm, real, trembling under my touch. "I notice you," I whispered. "Always have." She leaned her forehead against mine, eyes closing. "Then I guess I'm home." Outside, the stars burned silently over Mars, cold and distant, but for the first time in years, I felt warmth. And when she smiled, no armor, no mask, just her, it was brighter than any sun.